Okay, an investor invested a total of $2,300 in two mutual funds. One fund earned a 4% profit while the other earned a 2% profit. If the investor's total profit was $54, how much was invested in each mutual fund? Okay, so we need to set up our variables. So we have two different funds. So X is going to equal the amount invested at 4% and Y is the amount invested at 2%. We're told that the investor invested a total of $2,300 into two funds. So we have X plus Y equaling $2,300 because X and Y represents the amount of each invested. For my second equation, I have a total profit of $54. We know for each amount invested is at 4% for X and 2% for Y. Turning those into a decimal, you move it the decimal place to the left two places, so 4% becomes 0.04 and 2% becomes 0.02. So you have 0.04x plus 0.02y equaling 54, and that will be my amount earned, my profit. So I'm going to solve the first equation for y first to solve this by substitution. So x equals 2,300 minus y. Substituting that in for x. Taking that out and replacing it with 2,300 minus y, I will have to distribute to 0.04. 0.04 times 2,300 is 92, minus 0.04y plus 0.02y equals 54. Combine my like terms, I'll have negative 0.2y. Now I subtract 92 from both sides and I get negative 38. I divide both sides by negative 0.2 and I'll get y equals 1900. Now substituting that in for y to find x, I have 2,300 minus 1900 and I'll get x is 400. So remember, x is my amount invested at 4%, y is the amount invested at 2%. So it's asking me first for the 4%, so that is x and that is 400. Now the 2% is y and that is 1900. Okay, and that is number 19. Okay, number 20. If a plane can travel 470 miles per hour with the wind and 410 miles per hour against the wind, find the speed of the wind and the speed of the plane in still air. So we need to establish x and y. Let's have x equaling the speed of the plane in still air and y equaling the speed of the wind. So we have the plane traveling with the wind and against the wind. We're told that. Going with the wind, you will be adding x and y. You add the speeds together when you're going with it. You would subtract them when you're going against it. Okay, so that means x plus y would equal 470 going with the wind, and x minus y equals 410 going against the wind. So now we can solve that system. We can use elimination because our y's are the same number, just opposite signs. So we add that up. We'll get x plus x is 2x, and 470 plus 410 is 880. Divide both sides by 2, x would equal 440. Now to find y, substitute 440 in for x, subtract it from both sides, you'll get y equaling 30. Now remember, x is the amount of speed of the plane in still air, and y is the speed of the wind. The first thing it wants is the speed of the wind, so that is y, so that's going to equal 30. Speed of the plane in still air is going to be x, that is 440. And that is 20. Okay, number 21, we are graphing the linear inequality. So when we have x is less than negative 3, we need to graph the line x equals negative 3, which is a vertical line. Notice there is no line underneath the inequality, so it's going to be a dashed line. So going to negative 3 on the x-axis, making a vertical line there, with a dashed line, that will be my line. My shading in a vertical line. See how it's pointing towards the left? That means you're shading the left side. Or if you look at the x-axis, it's getting smaller as you go to the left, and we know that arrow is a less than. So click Save, check Answer, there's my graph. Number 2, you are determining whether the ordered pair is a solution of the given inequality. So what we need to do is substitute that point 1, 2 in for x and y. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to put in 2 for y and 1 for x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 2 is not less than or equal to 0, so we're going to say this is not a solution to the given inequality. And that's number 22. Now we're graphing this inequality. So we're going to graph the line y equals x minus 4 first. There is a line underneath the inequality, so it is equal to, it will be a solid line. My y-intercept is negative 4. My slope is 1, so I go up 1 to the right 1. Greater than means you shade above the line. Click Save, check Answer, and there's my graph. Next one, same thing. Graph the line y is equals 4x plus 3. My slope is 3. My y-intercept is 3, and my slope is 4. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Now there is no line under the inequality, so it would be a dashed line. Less than means I shade below the line. So that will be number 24. 25. I have y is greater than 7. Graphing the line y is equal to 7, that is a horizontal line. So you start at 7 on the y-axis, and you go over to make it a horizontal line. There is no line underneath the inequality, so it is not an equal to statement, so that will be a dashed line. Greater than means I shade above the line in a y is equal situation with a horizontal line. So press Save, check Answer, and there's 25. Okay, 26. You're determining the linear inequality associated with this solution. So we're going backwards. So first thing I notice is that I have a solid line, so it will be equal to, and then I notice I'm shading below the line. So right away I know y is going to be less than or equal to whatever else is going on. So my slope, I have 2 points. I go down 2 to the right 2, so that would be negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1, so negative x for my slope. And my y-intercept is on the y-axis, which is right here at 2, so plus 2. And that would be my inequality. So that's 26. Okay, number 27. We are graphing the system of inequalities. So the first thing we need to do before we even think about graphing them is making sure they are both in slope-intercept form. The first one is, the second one needs to be solved, so let's solve that first. Okay, so we have 4y minus x is less than or equal to 20. So we add x to both sides first, which will leave us with 4y is less than or equal to x plus 20. Divide everything by 4, I will have y is less than or equal to 1 over 4x plus 5. So now since I have both of these solved for y, I can graph them. So starting with the y is greater than 4x minus 4. I have a y-intercept of negative 4 and a slope of 4, so I go up 4 to the right 1, and I'll do that till I reach the edge of the graph. Then starting from the negative 4, I reverse it, go down 4 to the left 1 till I reach the other end of the graph. Now we notice how this does not have a line under the inequality, so it will be a dashed line. Greater than means I shade above the line. Okay? My second inequality that I solve for has a y-intercept of 5. Has a slope of 1 over 4, so I'll go up 1 to the right 4, and I'll do that till I reach the edge of the graph. Then reversing it, I go down 1 to the left 4 till I get to the other side of the graph. There is a line under it, so I know it will be a solid line. Less than means I shade below it. And we see my overlapping portion is my solution. So let's graph that on Math Excel. So now I'm going to graph it. So my first inequality is the y is greater than 4x minus 4. So I start at negative 4 for my y-intercept. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. There is no line under the inequality, so it would be a dashed line. Okay, so now my second one we said was solve for y is less than or equal to 1 over 4x plus 5. So that one's going to be a solid line, and I start at 5, and I have 1 over 4 for my slope, so I go up 1 over 1, 2, 3, and 4. My overlapping portion we said was here at the green part. So I'm going to shade just that portion, nothing else, just the overlapping part. Press save, check answer, and there's my graph for 27. Okay, number 28. I'm solving this system by graphing. So I need to make sure both of these are solved for. The first one is solved for y, the second one isn't, so I have to do that. So solving it for y, I have 3x minus y is less than or equal to 5. I first subtract 3x on both sides. I'll have negative y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 5. Divide everything by negative 1. When I divide the inequality by negative 1, I have to switch the direction of the inequality. It'll be y is greater than or equal to 3x minus 5. So now I can go ahead and graph these. So starting with the y is less than 3x plus 4. My y-intercept is 4, so I graph that. Then I have a slope of 3, so I go up 3 to the right 1, up 3 to the right 1, so I reach the edge of the graph. And then I reverse it starting at the 4 and go down 3 to the left 1, so I reach the end. Now there is no line under the inequality, so it has to be a dashed line, and it's a less than, so I shade below the line. Okay, so now for my second inequality, it's y is greater than or equal to 3x minus 5, so I start at negative 5. Then I go up 3 to the right 1, and I do that till I reach the edge of the graph. Then I reverse it from negative 5 and go down 3 to the left 1. Now there is a line under it, so it will be a solid line. A greater than means I will be shading above the line, so all this green portion will be my solution. So let's graph that on Math Excel. So I first have the y is less than 3x plus 4, so start at 4, go up 3 to the right 1. For my other one, I had a slope of negative, or y-intercept of negative 5. Well, this one has to be dashed, so let's make that dashed. The second one will be a solid line, starting at negative 5, going up 3, because my slope is 3, to the right 1. And my overlapping portion is between them. And that's number 28. Number 29. So I'm going to graph both of these inequalities for the system. Both of these are solved for y, so I don't have to solve them. Okay, so let's look at a graph to see where they overlap. So I first will graph the y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 5. Y-intercept is 5. My slope is negative 1, so I go down 1 to the right 1, and I do that until I reach the edge of the graph. Then I reverse it by going up 1 to the left 1 until I reach the other edge of the graph. Now there is a line under this inequality, so that means it's going to be a solid line. The greater than means I shade above the line. For my second inequality, I have y is less than or equal to 4x plus 7. So I have a y-intercept of 7, then I go, since I have a slope of 4, I cannot go up 4 to the right 1, so I have to reverse it by going down 4 to the left 1, and I'll do that till I reach the edge of the graph. It has a line under it, so it will be a solid line. Less than would be shaded below it, and then this green portion is my solution. So now I'm going to graph it. Both are solid lines. One starting at 5, down 1 to the right 1. The other one is starting at 7. Instead of going up 4, I will go down 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left 1. And my shaded portion is the top right. Take the paint bucket, shade it, save. That's number 29. So let's talk about 30.